Hello everybody, and thanks for joining us, and let's get caught up on some more news. A 1.7-mile sewer line could encourage development south of Florida Turnpike on west side of US 301. Special Magistrate Lindsay C.T. Holt Tuesday recommended approval of a site plan for the 14-inch wide line at a meeting of the Wildwood Planning and Zoning Board. The City Commission could consider the site plan later this month. The line extending from north of Clay Drain Road and past the Turnpike will serve the 100 Oaks development where 305 homes are planned on 100 acres. Holt recommended plat approval for the 100 Oaks project last month. A conditional use permit and rezoning were approved in 2022. The site is less than a mile north of Warm Springs Avenue, which ends on the east side of US 301. 2 wetlands and a pond are on the 100 acres property, and a portion is in a floodplain. A tree mitigation program will be needed because the site has an abundance of live oak trees. Developed by M2RE Partners, Wildwood LLC, the neighborhood of single-family homes along private roads would include a community garden, grill area with picnic tables, playground, and nature trails. Another project north of 100 Oaks may connect to the sewer line, but has been delayed due to Wildwood's wastewater issues. Projects that would add wastewater volume face delays. Last fall, Holt would not approve a special use permit for a 30-bed Wildwood Micro Hospital planned by Orlando Health due to its impact on the city's wastewater capacity. 100 Oaks was approved before the restriction went into effect. Due to the rapid growth, Wildwood is building a new wastewater treatment plant and upgrading its current plant to increase its daily wastewater capacity to 4.5 million gallons. The new plant won't be complete for a couple of years. A new deed compliance case was heard this week with regard to a dead man's home in the Villages. Kazu Tagashi Hardy paid $316,000 in 2018 for the home at 5925 Rutland Avenue in the village of Fentanyl. He was the home's original owner. Hardy passed away October 27, 2021 at the age of 68. A complaint was received March 31 about dead grass and weeds at the home. Photographs of the poor condition of the lawn were entered as evidence at the public hearing Monday at the district office at Brownwood. The special master hearing the case granted 7 days for the property to be brought into compliance. If the home is not brought into compliance, fines will be imposed. The same home was the subject of a deed compliance in 2022 for the identical violation. The home was brought into compliance in 2023. Kenneth and Laura Pfaffman of the village of Osceola Hills have been put through the ringer after Hurricane Milton damaged their home in 2024. The couple's home at 556 Wheelock Street sustained severe roof damage as well as interior damage as a result of the hurricane. The ensuing months brought more woes for the couple, including Laura Pfaffman's hospitalization. And there was an anonymous complaint about the tarp on their roof. The couple was called before a deed compliance hearing in January, where they were found to be in violation of a deed restrictions. They ended up with a $600 fine. Their insurance company initially lowballed the Pfaffmans with a $1,150 offer. The couple hired an attorney and took their insurance company to court. Good for you. It was during this time that Laura Pfaffmans required surgery and spent 8 days in the hospital. The insurance company demanded every receipt for everything the Pfaffmans had done to their roof since purchasing their home in 2016. The insurer scheduled depositions and tried to slow down the process. Ultimately, the Pfaffmans stood firm and eventually settled in early May. It was all part of a ploy by the insurance company to make me drop my case, Kenneth Pfaffman said. Ultimately, the Pfaffmans stood firm and eventually settled in early May with their insurance company for $36,000. After paying their attorney, they walked away with $24,000 to pay for the repairs. But during their battle with the insurance company, the tarp remained on their roof in violation of deed restrictions, and they were fined. Well, what else are you supposed to do? You got a hole in your roof, water's coming in. Other than a tarp, what else are you supposed to do when the insurance company isn't doing anything? The Fafmans, formerly of New Jersey, went before the Community Development District 10 Board of Supervisors on Thursday seeking forgiveness of the $600 deed compliance fines that they believed added insult to injury. I agree. However, a 3-to-1 vote, the board decided to forgive the majority of the fine, but held firm on a roughly $60 administration cost incurred by community standards. The Fafmans were incredulous that they were still being ordered to pay the roughly $60 administration penalty. This is unconscionable. It stinks, Kenneth Appin told the board. Supervisor Christine Bradshaw, who wanted to forgive the entire $600 penalty, including the $60 administration fee, offered to pay the penalty out of her own pocket. That's how strongly I feel about it and how much I disagree with my fellow board members, Bradshaw said. Good person right there. I don't know her, Miss Bradshaw. I don't know her. Good person. This is all from
Florida's friendliest hometown.
Let's have some more news. A Middleton mother has been jailed without bond after violating her probation from a drunk driving conviction earlier this year. Melody Ann Mitchell, 40, who lives in the family community near the village's charter school campus, was transferred to the Sumter County Detention Center on Tuesday following her arrest a few days earlier in Charlotte County, where she was nabbed driving on a suspended license. Mitchell will remain behind bars until at least next Tuesday, when a hearing is scheduled in the Sumter County Court. Mitchell lost her driver's license in April after pleading no contest to a charge of driving under the influence. She was also placed on probation for 1 year in order to perform 80 hours of community service. At the time of her original arrest in the wee hours of January 11, Mitchell was at the wheel of a blue Porsche when she failed to maintain a proper lane, according to a arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. During a traffic stop, she admitted she had been drinking and said she's just left a friend's house. She said she only wanted to go home. She struggled through field sobriety exercises and provided breath samples that registered .243 and .233 blood alcohol content. A home in the Villages has fallen into neglect after the owner apparently headed back to Ohio. The home at 9231 Southeast 169th Bentley Street in the Village of Springdale was the subject of a deed compliance hearing earlier this week at the district office at Brownwood. A complaint was received by Community Standards on March 14th regarding mold on the driveway and vines growing on the house. The home is owned by 85-year-old Lewis Linville. Community Standards staffers have been unable to reach her, and her phone number on file has been disconnected. Community Standards was able to find an alternative address in Ohio where Linville previously lived. Notices were sent to the Ohio address as well as the address in the Village of Springdale. There has been no response according to the testimony presented at the hearing. The homeowner was given 7 days to remove the mold and the vines. The district can fine the homeowner and power wash the mold off the driveway. However, the district cannot do anything about removing the vines. The homeowner will face $50 daily fines for the vines if they are not removed. A suspect has been charged with selling fentanyl out of his car at a shopping plaza in the Villages. Michael Ryan Mason, 25, of Leesburg, was being held this week without bond at the Sumter County Detention Center on multiple drug-related charges. He was the target of a November 2023 undercover operation of the Sumter County Sheriff's Office Special Investigations Squad. On 2 occasions, a confidential informant bought fentanyl from Mason when they met in the parking lot of Lake Deaton Plaza on State Road 44. The confidential informant told investigators that Mason was a drug dealer. After the informant purchased the drugs from Mason, they were sent for testing at the laboratory operated by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Testing confirmed the substance was fentanyl. A warrant was issued for his arrest. In 2022, Mason was charged with filing a false insurance claim. Okay, let's see if we can get a couple of letters to the editors real quick. To the editor, the Villages certainly should allow the use of metal roofs on homes throughout the Villages. Many businesses and village properties have metal roofs or metal accents. There are a variety of metal roof choices, to include one that looks like traditional shingles. Yes, and I've seen that one. It looks very good. Metal roofs also would hold up better under high winds and storms. I don't know if that's been proven. I got to see scientific facts, tests to prove that. Just because it's metal doesn't mean it'll stand up. You go to watch some hurricane storm damage when they come around, you'll see them on there, these buildings with metal roofs just blowing off. It ain't just the metal that comes off, the whole damn roof will come off. That's sent in by Mike Wilbur from the village of Pinellas. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. To the editor, the fact that the metal roof has an extended life should be enough to convince our officials that they should be allowed in the villages. Well, they are allowed in the villages, but you got to get ARC's approval, and there's only a certain kind of metal roof that they'll allow. They're not just going to allow you to go to Home Depot and buy some barn siding and put on your house. I wouldn't think you do that here anyway, but I'm just saying. Insurance companies want a new roof after 10 years. That means in the life of a metal roof, a shingle roof could be replaced 4 to 7 times. Another consideration should be artificial turf. The products available today are remarkable. It would eliminate lawn care, irrigation, fertilizer, and insect control. That is sent in by Gary Chisholm from the village of Tamarind Grove. Well, Gary, everything you say is exactly true. If I could play the devil's advocate here a little bit, which I'm pretty good at, it isn't the villages that has anything to say about your metal roof lasting longer than a shingled roof. It's your insurance company. They're the ones that are in control here when it comes to problems. I've seen too much of it around here. You think the villages cares how old your water heater is? They don't care. But I tell you what, I've seen insurance companies here tell people, you got to get a new water heater or we will not renew your insurance policy. You got to get a new this or that, because if you don't, we will not renew your insurance policy. Villages ain't in control of that. The powers that be. When you say the villages, I assume you mean a developer, the powers that be. No, they're not in control of any of that. So leave the villages out of it. Another consideration is artificial turf. I do like artificial turf. I think it looks great, and what you say is exactly right. No irrigation, no lawn care needed. All this insect control, no chemicals. You don't need any of that. It always looks good, right? But every once in a while, you're going to have to go out there and have your yard vacuumed. And yes, they do have a company that will vacuum outdoor lawn. And because it gets debris in it and it gets stuck in there. But I think the Florida Fish and Wildlife Game Department has some kind of a rule about artificial turf. Now, I don't know if it goes by county or what, but seems to me I read somewhere where they really didn't like it. It had something to do with water runoff, and it had something to do with birds being able to get their food that they normally would pick around on the ground looking for bugs and worms and whatever. So I'm just saying it's something you may want to look more into. The villages is not in control of that either. Now, they can say, in their rules, they can say, your district, you're not allowed to have artificial turf. Sure, they can do that. But I'm not sure that that's true. I'm thinking possibly that the state laws or government laws or county rules intersects in there a little bit. So I would just check into it. Call your local commissioner. I'm sure that they can give you the exact answer that the developer wants them to give you. That being said, I think that's going to end it on this one, and I'll see you on the next one. And with that, I'm just going to get out here and say, have a great day. Beware, be safe, take care of your health, because like I've said before, that's all you really have.
And don't leave that key in that golf cart.